Okay, so very good morning, all. We are the founders of Connect Quotient, and we are starting a series which is organization development, creating sustainable business impact. Now, we will be talking about all the different areas, such as it would be governance, it would be leadership thinking, it would be about vision, values, and many more topics. So, on that, we would be having more of a conversation, and uh, for that, it would be about everyday hacks that can be used in your organization. So, Kalpesh, why don't you share what are we going to do?
Great, Shalaka. First of all, I think it's an opportunity to say Ganpati Bappa Moria. You
Ganpati
know,
Bappa Moria.
it's an amazing festival, which which is a spirit of bringing people together and doing something which is of great importance and significance. And I think on this occasion, I want to tell all the audience and my friends and colleagues and you know people that I follow and I have been mentored that this series is more of a gratitude. It's something that we are building as an opportunity to give. Over the period of last 25 years being in the corporate world, whatever we've learned. So you've been in the corporate for about 10, 12 years. I've been in the corporate for about 25 years. This is an opportunity of combining the 35 years of experience and presenting that on a platter for people to take what is relevant for them. The entire intention is to help the community, help businesses to develop and look at what kind of simple hacks or small strategies can make a huge difference. So we're going to completely focusing on on creating that actual sustainable impact. And my promise to all the audience, Shalaka, who listens to us is we're not going to keep this as the Gyan session. This is not for knowledge. This is about experience, and that's what we will do.
Wow, that's nice. So, the immediate question that comes to my mind when we talk about an organization development, which is having more of a creating sustainable impact, business impact. The immediate question is these series that we are going to do. Uh, as the name suggests, some people, or even if a layman, would think that this is more for companies or business owners. My question here is, would this benefit teachers, students, doctors? How, and if yes, how would they benefit from these conversations?
Great. So, Shalaka, I'd like to answer to that, but just before that, I have one of my mentors, Peter Vicente, who is online right now, and he's put a comment of saying, "Hey, Kalpesh, very proud of you." Peter, I should thank you. I think many years back when I was on the stepping stones of my career, Peter has been one of the mentors that I learned a lot from, and it's an opportunity for me to present that gratitude back. Peter, thank you for making that difference in my life. So, with that, Shalaka, I think the answer lies in your question itself. We're talking about, while we've said organization development, now that an organization for different people would mean different thing. An organization for a teacher or a professor would be about his institute. An organization for a manufacturing unit will be, the company that he runs and the company that he's organized, managing. There are different things that organization means to different people. What we're going to talk about is from two aspects. One is for the owners and people who are decision makers on how do you actually curate this entire thing, create a platform for people. The second we're going to talk about is as an individual. Yesterday I was talking to somebody, and where I said that it's all about whether I think about myself as an employee or I think about myself as an entrepreneur. The minute I build that as an entrepreneur mindset, what I'm talking about is any moment of time, I operate from ownership. And when I operate out of ownership, and each one of them in the organization operate with an ownership mindset, the entire culture, the entire organization gives a complete different image. And you know, and also the second thing, uh, so these answer for students. I'm mentoring a lot of students right now from management colleges.
Right.
I'm working with organizations on consulting, and we're both together there. And what have we seen? The set of values or the set of mindsets, it remains the same. The only examples change.
Correct.
We've done the LinkedIn local session recently with the armed forces. Now when we talk about the discipline, the rigor, the relationship, it holds true for them as well,
Right.
right? So the context might change, but
Yes.
the learnings, the values, the hows that we're going to talk about will be relevant for each one of them.
Wow. Nice. So yeah, I mean, the students, yes, there's a lot of takeaway for all the students who are here online and be with us for the next 10 to 12 weeks. And it's going to be really engaging. I can already see a lot of comments from a variety of audience here. Thank you all for joining us. Please stay with us. And I'm guaranteeing that you will keep wanting for more sessions and more insights from us, and we will keep equally learning from your questions as well. So after that, there is one more question that I have, Kalpesh. All these things that we are going to talk about is already probably there online, or there are a lot of books, and there are a lot of speakers, who talk and touch base on these topics that we are also going to discuss. How do you think that our conversations are going to be same or different? And how is it going to be like? Why should people come and be a part of our session?
Very good, Shalak. I love this question because we a lot of time have, right? Today there is an overload of Zoom sessions. There's an overload of webinars, online trainings, workshops. uh, the subscriptions for your Kindles and Audibles have gone up dramatically in the last 4 5 months.
Yeah.
And which is fair. There is a lot of learning out there. Am I going to give something which is a rocket science and something which is different? Are we going to build something like that? I don't know. So I'm not going to say yes, and I'm not going to say no either.
Right.
But what we're going to bring to table is those hacks, and question those belief systems that we have at times, which hold us back, or which keeps us thinking. For if I ask Shalaka, a question is, how many times you wanted to do something for which you've been thinking for many years, but have just not been able to put into action?
Many.
Many, right?
Yeah.
Now if I'm able to, in this conversations, help you pick up some of those with very small little differences,
Right.
will that be helpful?
Yes, definitely.
Right. So yes, the knowledge, wisdom is all out there. I'm not saying that we'll build something which is a rocket science here, but what we're going to bring to these tables is simple conversations, is simple uh, doing things. I'll share an example, Shalaka, here. And this was way back when I was working with an organization a few years back. There was this always hype about employee engagement needs a lot of investment. So you
Right.
call for those vendors, and you call who will create that kind of fun and excitement, and you have to plan an entire event to do that. And my answer, or the question to that status quo was how many of those parties or how many of those meetings end up getting people to know each other? I've been a part of an organization. Every month there used to be a party, because it was like, no, that parties will help people bond.
Right. Right.
Parties in itself don't make people bond.
Right.
There needs to be that purpose for which people get bonded.
Correct.
And in that organization, Shalaka, we started a very simple hack, okay, called Funbook.
Yes.
And you're
Heard
aware
about it.
about that.
Yes,
Yes.
I'm remember.
And that Funbook was such an non-investment project
Correct.
where all it was about every 15 days, that whole team, 25 people would come together and one of them will take the leadership of
Correct.
doing or being a master of that session for that day. Now he can create
Exactly.
games, he can create a lecture, he can create an engagement, he can create what he wants.
Yes.
And just doing those sessions, the kind of engagement which came up, that by seeing those 25 people, we were then invited across the organization for doing those kind of engagement sessions for people.
Yes.
Done, right? No investments, internal talent of people who are there. All it needed was a little channelization and
Yeah.
breaking that barrier that employee engagement means investment, employee engagement means a lot of planning. No, it needed that discipline and that small hacks of how do you make that difference.
Yeah, I remember that time, and I equally, remember your boss and your head of the department as well coming down to you and saying, no, we need to take it across all the departments, and it is about everybody, involved in making this process happen, and everybody's interest that, I want to be a part of this fun book that was happening, and it's in my interest that I want to be a part of it. There is nobody telling me that you have to attend this thing or you have to complete this as a part of your KPIs.
Yes, yes,
So that was the best part of that fun book thing that you had, driven in that organization.
right.
So
Great. Thanks. Thank you, Shalaka. And we'll talk about those kind of things. For example, I'll share another story of, and I think let me pick up a story of which I remember you sharing.
yes,
When you were working with ICICI Bank, many years ago, and there was a very simple concept I
yeah,
remember you shared, where you all started an appreciation board.
right, right,
So there was a whiteboard where you all sit.
yes,
Every week, you just come and put up one person's name there, and everybody goes
yes,
and writes something which is good about that person.
yes.
How did that create an engagement or that stir of positiveness?
That was really, I mean, it was amazing. And we probably knew that our turn is going to come up someday because there was also a chit system there. And once the chit is picked up, the next day the name was displayed, and everybody had to write, even if it's a small thing. And we landed taking up the photographs of what people had written for us, for me. And it was that whole image is so strong still on my mind. Even if I just close my eyes, I can see that board in front of me.
Yeah,
So
and this
it's
is
that
what we're talking
impact.
about. This is what we're talking about 16 years back,
Yes, yes, yes,
right? And it's still fresh in your memory, right?
yes, yes.
For organization development, Shalaka, we actually going to explore the same things of what we've done. Those
Right.
simple things that people, it's like it shifts the perspective for people. It shifts uh, the way of thinking for people, and we actually just going to keep talking about those nuances,
Oh,
right?
that's nice.
and
Yeah.
and that's the intention. We want to talk about what we've done, how you
Yeah.
can do that, and would pick up those questions that people come up with, and we'll answer. And while we go forward, Shalak, I think there's a question from Professor Pranveer Singh,
Yes.
where he's talking about when a professor or high level administrator works with high dedication like owner of organization, does it not pose mental threats to the real owner or promoter?
Right.
Pranveer Singh ji, I'll only say that how first is you're working on that, because the minute you know and you're working in partnership with that person, there is no reason for the other person to feel insecure. Second, if you feel like that, address it. There, I'm not here to take away your job or your entrepreneurship. Today I've had examples in my early stages of career, Pranveer sir, where I had a member in my team, and I'm going back to 2003. She used to be a part of my team. I was a team leader. 8 years later, she was the head of a unit in another organization, and somewhere connect the dots. The world is very small, and I joined that organization at a level which was below her. I reported to her, and we still worked with partnership. We still worked, had a good compatibility, And at the end of the day, we both knew that we are working for the organization. So I didn't have to step back saying, "Arey, no, no, how can I report or make an ego issue for myself?" Nor did she have a complacency. "Arey, he used to be my boss and now he's going to be part of my team. How do I work with him?" No, we worked it out. The only the thing, Pranveer, here can be word of caution from my side will be, don't let it impact you not taking ownership because you think it will cause mental threats. Address that. There are ways to address. Have a coffee conversation. Go out and sit with that person. Talk about it, that we want to take this organization or take this institute to the next level. How can we do that? And when you're very clear with the objective you have in mind, I'll say 99.99% it works out. And feel free. I'm more than happy to speak to you, Pranveer sir. We can reach out and have a discussion. But it's all about going beyond that comfort. Yes, let that not impact you. That's what I will say.
Yeah,
Hey
that's right. I
James,
mean,
so sorry, Shalaka, but
no,
I'm just talking about my teams, and here I have James. Uh, Thank you. I mean, James was a part of my team way back in 2003, 17 years down. James, thank you for being there and listening to this conversation. Appreciate that.
yeah. So what I could just summarize from what you spoke about, Professor Pranveer Singh's question. Yeah, I mean it is a question, or it is a thing that we need to address, and better said than done. It will just take that one step to go and have an informal conversation, and that's where I think you said have a coffee conversation, and let it be informal to formal probably, because that would be an easy transition, and just saying "Ki, okay, we need to talk about this topic, and so let's sit and discuss or fix up a time." I think the coffee conversations, or there are many other kind of ways wherein we get to engage with people, know more about them while having a casual conversation, and then taking it, because I think there you are able to have that kind of a listening from both the parties, and the atmosphere there, it promotes you for a better relationship. So thank you for that insight, Kalpesh.
No, great. And Shalaka, while we keep the discussion on, I really want to appreciate Harish Mehta. Harish Bhai is the chapter president for PSAI, and he's here right now in the conversation. Thank you, Harish Bhai, for being there. Sagar is here. Sagar, I Sagar is an integral part of our life, Shalaka, and you know that, where we do a lot of initiatives together, and I do a LinkedIn live with him where we're talking
Yes,
about the productivity, building productivity mindset, and he's an
yes.
excellent professional. Um, Mahendra is here, Mayur is here. So thank you guys. Ankita, thank you for being there, and I think this is the whole fun, Shalaka. Getting connected to people who've mentored you, people whom you have mentored or you've been with together,
Right.
all coming together to sharing that wisdom and taking those learnings back. Thank you, Yash. I saw Yash's comment there, and he's also online right now. So yeah, I just want to thank them, Shalaka, before you go ahead.
Sure. Sure.
Over to
Thank you
you.
all from my side as well for joining us and staying with us. And I'm sure you will have a lot of insights. And as I said, keep posting your questions. We would love to answer many of them. Okay. So I have another, question, Kalpesh. So because we are talking about creating sustainable business impact, okay, and the current situation of pandemic where we all are stuck at home, and businesses, and now they're again coming back slowly and starting to pick up. How do you think this pandemic is going to impact people and the businesses?
Wonderful. You know, I think that's a beautiful question, which I love. The answer to that is no, Shalaka. Pandemic is a phase in your organization,
Right,
in your organization
right,
life cycle.
right.
Many scenarios like pandemic come, 2007, 2008, Lehman Brothers crashing, and
Yes,
the whole
yes,
financial turmoil which had come was
yes,
was a pandemic in its own
Yeah.
way. Okay.
Correct.
So these are jolts. They will keep coming. What we want to talk about, and what we want to build, rather, I will say, rather than talk, build with our audiences, with us, is to build that spirit. It's to build that learnings which are, or things which are always there. You know,
Hmm.
we talk about, say, governance. We talk about leadership
Hmm.
thinking. We talk about building accountability. Now, these
Hmm.
things are never going to change. The house may change.
Beautiful. Yes.
Yeah. So yes, of course, the way we were, for example, as a coach, the way I was doing coaching before, where we would sit down in Starbucks, or sit at the person's place and have a coffee and then talk. Now we've
Yeah.
become very comfortable using online apps, on
Right.
WhatsApp video calls and Zooms, and I don't know how many different, those to Google Meets and Microsoft Teams, and how many of those have I used? You've used Zoho webinars and other platforms to attend.
Right.
So the tools might change, the way we do things will shift, but the learnings will always be there. Those important factors will always remain. That's
Great.
my answer
Great.
to your
So
question. If things will change after I think it's only
yeah.
about the tools.
So yeah, I think the reason why I asked this question is because there's a lot of hype, and I understand, and I myself is in that scenario that Bapre, how will this progress, and how will the economy of the country suffer, and how much will it suffer? And you have given a beautiful perspective that there's not going to be a big change. Like there's not a big thing that we have to now prepare ourselves. Yes, there would be some how parts in how we deal with those certain things in our lives, in relation to going to work, in relation to doing a business, everything. And it's once we have that perspective about how part, that whole thing which is a big facade that is there, it becomes a little small and easy to handle and think about it.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's really very well put.
yeah,
uh,
and
yeah.
I'll just like to add a small analogy, Shalaka, to what I use in my coaching conversations is, how many pins do you think you need to burst a balloon? One, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The whole pandemic is real. So I'm
Yes.
not saying it's a hype. I mean, I beg to differ to that word hype.
Yeah.
Pandemic is real, you know, and I
Yeah.
remember, when we spoke about this in month of April and May, we always
Hmm.
knew that okay, some days it is going to come into our inner circles.
Yes. Yes.
And currently, we know of at least five people in our family and close friends where people are impacted with it. It's not far.
Yeah.
Earlier when it started, it was like, oh, okay, okay, somewhere, someone, some place is impacting. Now we know it's in the
Yes.
close circle,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It is going to happen. It is there. I mean, of course, there is a lot of research and a lot of people are working towards finding those solutions for us, and we will. I mean, all of us will sail through.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in that.
Yeah.
The thought is one option is to keep creating that balloon and feel restricted, feel stuck, feel helpless. The second is just put a pin. This is what it is. What do I do next?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's what I would want to leave with. That either you keep holding that balloon and expanding that, or just burst it. Look at what's next.
Yeah. So what I understand is, yes, about the hype part. The hype part is about how would I deal with the changes that would happen, not the hype about the pandemic. And yes, bursting the balloon, and so that the clarity of thoughts is there, and there is an acceptance. Okay, now this is how things can be done. I don't know whether it would be better or not, but there is always a workaround or a way around to get your things done. And
Yeah,
probably that's how the innovation and the apps that you spoke about, as to how many things are now, and people are now getting comfortable with
yeah,
using the online things. So yeah,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, so that was really well thought about as to how we go ahead and deal with these things. Yeah, great. So,
Yeah.
moving on with what you spoke, what I can hear or what I can understand is it's about people. It's about how people are going to be and be with each other, be with themselves, or work or do their businesses. And one of the part of that is about leadership style thinking. Okay, so what do you think? I mean, what is your perspective on leadership thinking, Kalpesh?
Um, I think it's like I remember in my previous organization we had this famous line for the security, being responsible for the security of the organization and ethics of the organization, and in the last line of that would be that the buck stops with me. Okay, so leadership is like that. You can talk about it starts with me and it ends with me. Leadership we all know, right? We've all been leaders in our lives. The question is, out of 24 hours, how many hours of a day do I keep wearing that leadership hat? And
Hmm.
how many times do I then, change that to be a victim, change that to being an employee, change that to different, or I don't matter, and a lot
Correct.
of those things.
Right.
We are leaders. We are born leaders. We are natural leaders, all human beings.
Correct.
And I don't want to get into a lot of philosophy there. And there is enough which has been spoken about it. I only want people to be present to how they are leaders in their own lives. Let's begin with very simple things about a team leader. He's a leader of those 15 people in his team. A associate who is working, or say a blue collar worker who is working on ground, he's a leader of his life, or maybe some leadership in his community, or maybe even go down. Let's say the next level, that person who is not working, say a student, he still may be a leader in his own on students, or the group of children who work together or play together.
Right.
That quality of leadership is essential, and it's always there. Now you can be a situational leader, you can be a born leader, you can be a leader who is learned over the number of years of experience and been there. Doesn't matter. What matters as a leader, Shalaka, is about what do you bring to table.
Right.
And the session that I keep conducting on decoding and mastering excellence, and you've heard, the only definition I say about leadership is three words. And these are not the romantic three words that we keep talking about. These three words about leadership is making it happen.
Correct. Yes.
Hindu mythology says use anything that it requires. Sam, Dam, Danda, Bhed, make it happen. So if you need
Right.
to win the war, you need to win the war.
Hmm.
Do what it takes to win the war. If you're in your life and you take charge, and I'll say from both perspectives. If I'm in armed forces and I'm on the battlefield right now, I need to win the war.
Yeah.
That's my leadership. Make it happen. And for that, whatever it takes, I do it. If it means I need to motivate my armed forces, I do it. If it means I need to strategize on my game plan of how I need to do that, I do that. If it means I need to have the right kind of tools and immunities and arms with me, do that. Making it happen. I ask this to a lot of parents and a lot of mid-career professionals where we work. When they are very stressed out, or when they are thinking about not being able to make a decision, I say the only one thing. I said, tell me, will there ever be a day when your children or your parents will sleep hungry because you did not have a job?
Never.
Never, right? And that's the spirit. That's the leader. I will always make things happen because because I own it. That's my baby.
Yeah, and that's the very basic, I guess. That's so much basic.
Yeah. That's making it happen. That's the leadership definition. Because if you type in Google right now, qualities of a leader or leadership, you'll get 4.5 crore links that will come up. in 0.6 seconds.
Correct.
I and there is not one definition of leadership.
Correct.
And there's not one example of leadership. You talk about the corporate world, you have organizations who have survived for last 100, years and they're still going great. And I've been fortunate. I've been a part of TCS, Tata Group. It's a landmark in organizations and in the culture that people define. I am a TCSer. I am still proud to say that because I still live the values and ethics that I've learned there. It's there in my blood. I may or may not be working with them on their payroll right now, but that's there.
Yeah.
Going with that consistency, making it happen, doing what it takes to do is what leadership is about. Now I can make the things happen, being stressed, being always overburdened with going around that I have so many things to do, I don't have personal time, I don't have balance, I don't have. So be it your leadership. The second option is I take it as it comes. It's like being a batsman. You are there on the crease. You don't have a choice of who is going to keep come and bowl to you. Are you ready to
Correct.
bat?
Great.
I think I just got carried away, but I think I relate to these things, and I now I operate from that, Shalak. And you've seen how I'm working with a lot of organizations, and where we go and set these examples for people. So
Yeah, that's lovely, and yeah, I also got a little, some other perspectives. Like, so I do a lot of even meditation and intuitions, and many people are saying, like, I've heard that I don't have a lot of intuition and things like that. The way you're speaking about leadership, not everybody is a leader. They may think, but it's not actually that. Even the spiritual gurus uh, say that with that conviction of everybody is a born leader. The similar way everybody has intuition, you need to just tap and clear the clutter away. The way you said, make it happen. When you operate with that, the leader in you probably just comes to the surface and says, no, no, boss, this needs to be done. This is basic. Going on time to office is basic. It's not a quality, right? Or being honest and ethical is basic. It's not a quality. Okay, you have, that is what is mandatory. Okay, so in a similar way, everybody, all of us are born leaders, yes. And I think what I could understand from what you said is we are probably talking about activating that leadership style thinking. It's there in all of us.
yeah.
It's about just activating consciously the moment we go back to our normal self, or we feel ki nahi, I'm not good enough, and all that thing that comes to our mind. But you keep activating the moment you know how do you activate, and then you keep making it happen. It would be there in our blood. The way you say about the TCS values, and how they're still with you, and how do you operate with that. So yeah, I mean, that was what I could understand from what you spoke.
No, wonderful. And Shalaka, if I now, so while I spoke about leadership as a personal value, if I relate that to the organization development,
Yes.
you know what comes as a leadership value there, and we're going to actually have a complete session where we only talk about those leadership hacks and different small elements that you need to do.
Yes.
One of the first things as a leadership is, and I'm going to refer back to the book which I've read, which is From Good to Great by Jim Collins.
Hmm.
And in that, where he's defined a level 5 leadership uh, out of his research of more than 1,435 companies, where only 11 companies fell into the bracket of being good to great, which was a study of 30 years of that organization's history.
My God.
And in that 11 companies, they have defined about all the CEOs that time when the company became or got into this category of being good to great had a
Hmm.
CEO which had a level 5 leadership. Now, what does a level 5 leadership mean? A level 5 leadership, the first approach which changes in that leadership is identifying the who's. Which are those people who are going to work with me? Or which are those
Yeah.
people that I want to have on my team?
Okay.
To that extent, he's gone behind. and this is research, okay, this is what he's talking about, the research with 1435 companies, is that companies which work with defining the vision, mission, goals as the first thing, which is the what, and then go into defining the who, is termed as a level 4 leadership. What 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 i what leadership level 5, or people who've been successful, or all these 11 companies that he's narrated in his book,
Yeah.
have are leaders who first decided that who are they going to work with, or which are those people who will be on their team, and
Hmm.
then sat down to even define what the vision and mission and goals they want to have.
Wow.
So as a leader, who are you, how are you choosing your team, who are you, deciding to work with? I remember a very good speaker, and once I was attending his session, and he said, a lot of times we have this mediocrity in our approach. So if you want to, for example, do weight loss,
Hmm.
what will people choose from? There's a dietitian who gives at 2,000 per month. There's a
Hmm.
Rujita Divekar who gives at 30,000 per month. Now, on one side, she's tested, tried and tested. Now, this one you want to experiment, or this is also tried and tested, and then you choose.
Yeah.
You keep your objective in mind. Choose the best. If I want to create a content writing for myself, I either compromise and get it done, with ABC, or I hire the best in my team and say, okay, boss, I want you to be on my team and do this. I need
Yeah.
to be ready to pay a check for that.
Yeah.
But that's my leadership, that I choose who come on my team, because if I want to be the best, I need to have the best in my team. I'm not going to be the best without a best team in my backing.
Wow. Nice. Yes. Correct. So need to choose people and make them aligned to what you want to drive and work. So it's amazing. Now, since I'm talking about alignment, how do you handle diversity and alignment at the same time?
Wow.
Because you're talking
Uh,
about selecting and choosing people.
yeah. So it's a beautiful context. There is a huge amount of awareness today about diversity and inclusion. And I remember a few years back, with one of my clients, and which was a very big bank across the globe. uh, a senior leader there had this question, that how are we operating on the diversity and inclusion in one of my units. And she also spoke about that, how the CEO of the country that they were working in build the entire 5-year plan to ensure that X number of women leaders, X number of different mindsets come into that board together to lead that whole country as diversified. The question is, let there be diversity in your skill set. Let there be diversity in your thinking, but that let there be alignment to what you all are up to.
Wow.
So
Okay.
So whole brain thinking, Shalaka, you've gone through that, I've gone through that, and we do that with units. Now it is divided into 4 quadrants, right? One is about the yellow quadrant, which thinks about out of the box ideas, and somebody who is very visual and thinks far ahead. Blue, somebody who's very logical, who goes with uh, numbers, who wants data or the logical approach, analytical approach. Your green is somebody who's very process oriented, who likes to put the steps of 1, 2, 3, 4, the how part of it. And then there is a red, which is about the people part of it, emotional feelings,
Yes.
caring, giving, those elements. You need all of these in your organization.
Nice.
If I choose to be doing everything on my own,
Hmm.
I'm going to be torn apart. As a leader, can I identify somebody who's very blue, somebody who's very yellow, somebody who's very green, somebody who's very red,
Right.
bring them together, and then they and respect each other for what they bring to table. So
Hmm.
we have diversity in our thinking,
Right.
but we're all aligned to making, what we are up to.
Wow. So well
That
put. I mean, wow. That's so superb. I mean, it sounds as if diversity and alignment, oh my God, how are we going to do that? But it's again, you give the similar way as to how the pandemic part, it's, diversity in thinking and alignment towards what you want to achieve. I mean, so well put by you. Amazing. I mean, I remember even you sharing about the, whole brain thinking about when you know what the client wants or what kind of thinking you do the presentations, or you go ahead and talk in a way, where they're able to process what you're actually trying to tell them and not, be offended or, think otherwise. And you ultimately are able to at least have a good relationship, even if you don't get the contract at that moment of time.
Yeah,
So yeah, well said. Yeah. So
great.
so when yeah,
And Shalaka, sorry, I want to. So first of all, I want to thank Professor Pranveer Singh for being there,
okay,
and for really being engaging. And I love one spirit of his is that he's actually bringing his thoughts to the table of what he's experiencing and what his real time scenario is. And Pranveer, as you mentioned about the question on how and where they wish to move the organization, as
mm,
apparent in most educational institutes, unethical manipulators, dishonest, are being empowered on cost of others. Is it sustainable? The answer is so. If I may choose to answer it in this way, this question begins with what is sustainable for you mean. What is sustainability for me might be different to what a sustainability might mean to Shalaka, to what it means to you. But what if I talk about sustainability from where me and Shalaka we're doing this session, we're talking about creating that long-term value. And long-term value, so we are then completely aligned to what we want to give to the organization, to the business, to the world. Ups and downs are a part of it. Now, yes, if there are unethical manipulators and dishonesty which you're facing across, if you are somebody, so I have two choices as a leader there to make. One is I keep sailing that boat and say, yeah, what can I do? There's unethical practices, and this is what happens, that is what happens. Be with it. Or do what it takes to do for it. Of course, there might be some risks, there might be some calculations, there might be there might be an ecosystem that you need to develop who supports you, and not only today when people think about ecosystem building, I'm not talking about people who will support you and create a quorum. No,
yeah,
I'm talking about those small practices, small little things that you can do which creates that vision. And I think that's important. I'm more than happy to go a little more deeper and talk to you about, but I just want you to know, Pranveer sir, it's it's possible. Yes, we all know we're not in a rosy world. We all know that there is manipulations happening, there are unethical practices which go on. You make a choice. I make a choice whether I want to go work with that group of people or not work with that people. And I like to share this, Shalak. I'll take one more minute to complete
sure,
this part.
yeah,
Pranveer, I'll share. I had this instance in 2007. And I used to work with an organization which has taught me a lot of things. I would always be grateful for what I learned there. But there was a point where I couldn't take something which was unethical according to me, which was not happening the right way. I took a risk and I moved out of that organization because it didn't fit me. And I made attempts. I worked with them. I spoke about what we need to do, how we need to do. But somewhere when it didn't work, it was becoming non-acceptable to myself. I stepped out. Yes, it was a risk, but I made that choice. Do I regret that choice? Do I not regret that choice? I don't even know. Life moved on, and here I am today where I am right now. But I made that choice. So I think it's going to be about you are in that context. I am no one to give you the guidance and answer that for you. I'll only share a perspective of everybody in our life and in our organizations have some things which are non-negotiable and
right,
some things that are must-haves or good to haves.
right.
If that's something in my non-negotiable, then I know what I need to do. If it's not in my non-negotiable list, then I can, work. Acha, theek hai, can find a workaround, can try this. But that's a game. Yeah,
Yeah,
Shalaka, sorry, over to you.
yeah, no problem. So I'm just relating it even to our life situation. So going with Pranveer sirs as well is so non-negotiable and negotiable. So there are some controllable factors and some non-controllable factors as well. And where there are non-controllables, we can't do some things about it. But which are controllable, we can do some small tweaks, some changes in our own thinking patterns, and that will lead us to a little bit clarity of what we want to do, what we want to achieve, and how we want to achieve that. And as you rightly mentioned about the phase that was there where things were not working out as per the values and ethics, and it was not that you really spoiled the whole show and you just left out on a very, aggressive mode and things like that, but you spoke out. The communication that we are speaking about, leadership thinking and communication plays a role there. You spoke about what was bothering you. You spoke about a lot of to a lot of people who are involved in that whole thing. And when it didn't still work out the way you thought it should have, you moved out gracefully and you're still in touch with them in the sense, if you ever go back, they may not have a concern about a character as to, this person is not able to handle certain situations or things like that. So it's about, really having that clarity of thought, as you rightly said, as to what is negotiable and non-negotiable. And if it's non-negotiable, you move on gracefully, it's fine. You take that risk, you take those steps in what your vision on, in what your thoughts are. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's really nice. Yeah,
And Shalaka, ethics will play a part. I mean, I
yeah,
have seen those teams and those units in 25 years. You're not somebody who is God given, right? So
yeah,
you come across these scenarios. You come across those kind of scenarios, and you see that there is there is there is it वो बोलते हैं ना, जैसी करनी वैसी भरनी. It will come back. So अगर आप वो, if there is manipulation happening, if there are efforts which are happening, and Pranveer, as you mentioned that that organization or that institute might be growing with regards to the numbers and with regards to what they're getting. Question is also how well respected it is. What are the kind of values they have? What is the brand image they want to create?
yeah.
And I don't want to name, but there are lots of organizations in our Indian context itself. And let's just take a moment back and think about which organizations do we value more, and which we don't, while both of them might be at the same level of businesses.
Yeah, so in conjunction to the same thing, I had the next thought or a question, that how critical is it to have the vision and values defined? So when you spoke about, I think, the alignment and diversity thinking, as to we need to be aligned to what? Okay, so that can be about the outcome. One is the outcome. The other would be about how we work together. So how do you think is critical for to have the vision, mission, and values defined?
Right. So it's let me relate that to a very simple life scenario. Okay, Sharaga. Couples get married.
Yeah.
What was the most critical thing? The who. Who do you want to get married with?
Hmm.
Right. Now, once you chose a partner and you get aligned with that partner, because and I use this word, I think, in my first interview in GTL, I think way back in 2001. And they'd asked me that, how do you see your association with GTL? And I'd said it's a marriage. Because the minute you commit yourself, then going to talk about how do you take it to the next level. And it's in terms of experience. It's not always in terms of money, but
Yeah.
in terms of experience, in terms of growth. And again, the growth can be in terms of relationship, money, thinking, learning, I don't know, all those elements. Now, once you have that partnership, or once, even that, when I spoke about level 5 leadership, who are the people who are going to play the game with you.
Right.
Then you need to have a game, no? For example, Virat Kohli creates an excellent team of great batsmen, great bowlers with great attitudes together. But after that, what?
Right.
So the vision, mission, and values
Hmm.
are your direction.
Right.
It gives you. So then, when I go to play a 50-over match, or I go to play a test match, or if
Hmm.
I go to play a T20,
Hmm.
I then create my game plan according to that. What's my vision? Now I have my team. Now, what's my vision? Now, vision, mission, and goals are critical. Why? Because the vision sets your direction. Today, if I leave my house, if I know that I'm going to say Mumbai from here, I mean we are in Pune, right, and we decide to go to Mumbai, the question is, so for example, now that's my mission to reach to Mumbai, is where it will help me now find out my strategy. So
Hmm.
I link that to three parts, Shalaka: vision, mission, and strategy.
Okay.
My first thing is my vision, that why am I doing this in the first place?
Yeah.
So, which I'd said in the, so what are we up to? What game are we playing? What are we up to in life? What's the
Hmm.
vision? Then the mission, that okay, then this is what I want to achieve, which is in line with what I overall want to achieve. And then that's the mission. And then I'm talking about the strategy, because then I'm talking about the how. So
Hmm.
why I want to go to Mumbai? Say my parents are there, and I want to go and meet them. I want to spend some good time with them, and I want to be with them. As many scenarios. Now that's my vision. What is then my mission is to, okay, reach Mumbai on this date because it's their birthday or whatever that is. Then comes the strategy. So what time do I start? What are the things that I carry with me? Uh, will I need any, in today's scenario, will I need any pass for it? Do I need to take my provisions because the food courts may be open, may not be open? XYZ. Now that's my whole strategy part of how seamless my journey can be to my mission.
Correct.
As in leadership, as an organization, what is my vision to make teams and companies effective, or to bring, uh, you know to be the leader in innovation, which helps people, build or growth in their business. Now that's my vision. Now if I keep that vision, like, I'll share my another organization, Shalaka, co-founder, I mean, where I'm, the ISOL, which we're doing as a coaching initiative. Our vision is co-creating powerful transformations.
Hmm.
Now, with that vision in mind, now our next mission is to reach out to the top 50 MSMEs across the India, and to work with them to create that powerful transformations. And now that, for that, the next strategy is what we're building.
Right.
We are five of us, which is a team that we've created. Now we have the mission, and now we're working on that strategy.
Right.
So, so if I've defined that, you have the leadership, and then you also need to know what is your game plan.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Thank you so much. And I think what I can understand is there are real life situations that we can even have those vision, and values and strategies defined to in basic things as well, like how you put us to traveling. We don't know in subconscious ways we are doing that. So, and yes, then it becomes very mandatory for successful organizations to have it clearly defined and, cascaded down to all the employees who are working with them. So, yeah, it's well put. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Shilaka. And I never realized, Shilaka, we already at 54th minute. We have 6 more minutes to go. But I
Right.
think I want to acknowledge you for first is partnering me in bringing this platform, and I also want to highlight to all the audience here that we're going to keep building these conversations, go deeper with not only our, as I kept just saying at the start, with the philosophies, but we want to talk about practice, reality, and work with teams teams and work with your own self, your families, and your institutes to bring them into practice. It's going to be a conversation which will have a lot of takeaways for you. So, yeah, Shalak, are you back?
Yes, yes, I'm
Okay,
back.
great. Yes, great. So Shalaka, so what's we have 5 more minutes left. How do you want to take that? Do you have any more
I
questions?
think no, I think today this would be enough, like for questions part of what I have, and what I can say is what we spoke about diversity, alignment. It all goes probably hand in hand, and it is very simple. There is no rocket science, as you mentioned, and we already do it. It's not that you have to really sit down and make a list of things and plan and execute. Like we spoke about the fun book session, and there was not a big investment, or rather no investment at all. Yes, there was some kind of investment of time, but that was just, I think, 15 minutes in 2 weeks or so, and that was anyways manageable, easily manageable, and that's where that happened. So when you put those thinking hats as to what you really want to achieve, everything. वो I remember that dialogue of Shahrukh Khan, सारी कायनात जो है ओम शांति ओम का dialogue. So when you are really focused on what you want, everything starts falling into place,
Yeah,
and that would give you the result that you want. Yeah.
right. And
So
and as you rightly said, Shalaka. So Shah Rukh Khan is that Om Shanti Om movie. Yes, is the dialogue is a benchmark in itself, and all of them say that. My and you know what? That's been truth. That's the truth for so many philosophies. Steve Jobs. I've read his autobiography, and he started operating out of the garage. He and
yeah.
his partner.
Mm.
They started building the first Macintosh, or the first product from there. You hear about Dhirubhai Ambani. He worked at petrol pumps, and he used to do jobs from where it struck for him, and he was into I don't know how many more things that he did to take then create the whole empire of Reliance.
Right.
You talk about many such leaders and such people, and I'm talking about businesses. You talk about freedom fighters, Nelson Mandela, Gandhi ji. So many. It all started with what do you stand for, you know and there then you're not left alone, because sometimes what happens is we restrict a lot of it to Shalaka people that I know and who I need to talk to and who I need to reach out to.
Yeah.
Today we are blessed with so much of exposure. Today, we are blessed with so many more engagement platforms, and we get connected to people uh, where we've never met, we've never spoken, but you still feel that connection.
Right.
And that's what keeps building. So I think what I want to leave that thought back to the audience here is, we're going to come back every Sunday, and and we're going to actually dig deeper into each of these concepts with some actual doable practices that can alter the way you actually operate. So stay tuned, stay with us, please participate. Thanks to Nimisha, Biku, Gauri, a lot of you who are here, and if I've missed on acknowledging you, I'm sorry for that. But thanks for being there, because I think it's the love and encouragement that all of you give is what keeps us going into making this journey, and this is just the beginning.
Yes, yes. Thank you all for being online with us. Please stay with us, stay connected, stay safe, and do messages. Anything that you would want to know, we would try to include that in our sessions further as well. And love to have an engaging audience.
Great, Shalaka, and I should say, it's always been very beautiful uh, to share platforms with you. So we've done we've done a lot of we've won a lot of awards and dancing together. We've we've been moderating the LinkedIn local sessions together.
Yes.
We've done a lot of Connect Quotient team engagement and experience building workshops together, and now sharing this platform of LinkedIn Live with you. I think I'm blessed and honored to have you there in my life, and we're doing all these things together of sharing our learnings with all of them.
Yes.
So thank you for taking this on.
Yes, I am equally excited, and to have even I'm exploring my own side because I have never been on this side of the table. It's always with you that I'm there. So I am also learning a lot as to, probably we probably don't go so much in detail as to the everyday nuances and talking about these things. So there's a lot to learn, and probably you are again bringing out the best in me. So thank you for that.
Okay, great. Thank you to all our audiences, and thank you for being there. We'll meet again next Sunday. Stay tuned and look forward to interact with all of you.
Yes. See
Thank
you
you.
all. Yeah. Bye.